I'm smiling pretty hard right now, you know? I love the idea of pissing off both of the fan bases of the teams that I cheer for because I just like messing with people like that. Okay, backstory time. In July of 2019, I made a YouTube video called No, Jesperi Kotkaniemi is not better than Elias Pettersson. That video got 129 likes and 47 dislikes, meaning that some people were not agreeing with the stuff that I was talking about, which essentially said that, yeah, I think that Pettersson is a better player than Kotkaniemi. However, the comment section was filled with a whole bunch of flames on either side. People saying, why are you comparing these players when they're so young? People saying, yeah, but Kotkaniemi is younger, meaning that he's going to be better. And others trying to defend either side as well. But it's funny because Kotkaniemi Pettersson is something that was in the spotlight, let's just say, for the media for such a long time that I wanted to bring it up in a video here today because I just want to relive those times, you know? We've got nothing else to talk about. Hey, there's no news going on. Let's talk about Kotkaniemi and Pettersson, the two young centers on either of the Vancouver Canucks and the Montreal Canadiens who are poised to becoming elite players down the line. This topic of PD and KK has been brought on for quite some time, and a lot of it was sparked all the way back in November of 2018, where both of these players, PD and Kotkaniemi, were in their rookie seasons. Pettersson was 20, Kotkaniemi was 18. This is what happened when Jesperi Kotkaniemi was asked about Elias Pettersson. This is when Pettersson was dominating the league early on. He had 10 goals in 10 games, and he was on top of the world. Kotkaniemi talked about how Pettersson had a nice shot today, but not anything special. And this quote kind of got Canucks fans super pissed off. It got them saying, what? Is he serious? Are you blind? This is the guy who is going to carry our team to the promised land. He's only 20 and he's already one of the best. How can you say that he is not anything special? And the Habs fans were all like, yeah, he's not actually that wrong. Because Pettersson is just a very flashy, skilled player, but it's not anything special. So, already from November of 2018, the PD versus KK kind of thing that the fans saw was running high. Then, on January of 2019, things got even worse when the Kotkaniemi-Pettersson injury happened, where Kotkaniemi kind of got his stick tangled up and Pettersson fell after being kind of grabbed by Kotkaniemi in a way. It was really, really weird, but they both kind of fell awkwardly and the fan bases exploded. The Vancouver Canucks fan base was like, what the hell? That was a knee-on-knee penalty. How was that not a penalty? Kotkaniemi, what are you doing? And the Habs fans were like, relax, buddy. It was just an awkward collision. And this kind of got Canucks fans upset for like a few days, pretty much. Even when Elias Pettersson and Travis Green and Brandon Sutter had all these quotes saying, yeah, you know, it wasn't dirty. It was just an unfortunate entangling of these two players. So that kind of ruled everything into an even more bigger perspective where fans were kind of saying and joking around, oh, Kotkaniemi wants the Calder, so he's going to take down the Calder guy who's gonna win the Calder because he wants the trophy himself. Obviously, it was just people just spitting, people just making fun, people making jokes over and over and over again. But the video that I made back in July of 2019 went over the ideas that people were talking about as to whether or not one or the other would be more valuable at that moment or down the line. And a lot of people said the down-the-line argument was the most strong one because Jesperi Kotkaniemi's first year in the NHL was better than Barkov's, meaning that by the time Kotkaniemi is 20, he is going to be better than Pettersson was when Pettersson was 20. And at the same time, I can see where they're coming from. I can see why that argument exists and why it is prevalent, which is why I'm not going to title this video, Pettersson is still better than Kotkaniemi or whatever. I'm just going to bring them both up in a very, let's just say, conflicting kind of way. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but I'll decide when I upload this video eventually. So, Kotkaniemi, eh? He's a guy who, a year ago when I made this video, people were up in arms away defending this guy. Now I don't know if that response would be shared, because Pettersson just wrapped up his second season in the NHL, getting 66 points in fewer games played than he did the year prior, and Jesperi Kotkaniemi wrapped up this year in the AHL with the Laval Rocket. So obviously, just taking a look at it at face value, you would say, yes, PD is better today, and because of the setbacks that Kotkaniemi had to go through, I would go with PD in the long term. At the same time, though, throughout the past 12 months, so many people have been turning their backs on Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and the majority of them are not Habs fans, which makes sense to me, because obviously you're not going to pay attention to players who aren't on your own team. But I think this ignorance has been feigned so strongly to the point that people aren't even really recognizing Kotkaniemi as a valuable asset in the future anymore. I have a few buddies, Talking Habs Rick, as well as Hot Take Hockey John, who have made videos talking about how Jesperi Kotkaniemi is not a bust, which I do agree, he is not a bust. The guy's 19. But the thing is, they had to make those videos because of the narratives that have been forming around Kotkaniemi, saying, oh, the guy sucks now, the guy can't handle himself in the NHL, oh, he had a rough sophomore slump, oh, he had to go to the AHL, and he only had one goal and it was on an empty net. What's going on with Jesperi Kotkaniemi? He must be done. But people are not really paying attention to the point that I like him to, which is why I appreciate John and Rick for making those videos, because they share messages that I agree with, that yes, Kotkaniemi still has a very good amount of long-term value. Whatever you say about Kotkaniemi from his second year, his first year was still in a very similar light to Alexander Barkov's first year when he was 18. So, that's great. It's just the way his second year has gone down, it has thrown him down the gutter, which is why if I bring up Elias Pettersson in the same sentence, people will start to laugh. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring this video idea up, because the rivalry that these two have shared between the two fan bases, not because of them themselves, they probably don't have any beef or anything, it's just the fan bases over the years have been so ignited in conflict when talking about these two players, when Jesperi Kotkaniemi says that PD is nothing special, when Jesperi Kotkaniemi trips PD out and PD ends up missing an extended amount of time because of it, when PD wins the Calder and Kotkaniemi doesn't, but he has a really good year, indicating that by the time he is PD's age, he is going to be as good, if not better, than what PD was when he was 20. There's just such a heated rivalry, and I totally see where it's coming from, because when you have two fan bases from Canadian cities that are so passionate about their team, both in the terms of good and bad, that when it comes to the young guys that they have, these are the players that the team's fan bases will really defend to the greatest extent. You won't find anybody in Vancouver Canucks Nation who dislikes Elias Pettersson or who talks smack about the guy. Same with Quinn Hughes. The guys who have the best ratio of skill and youth are the guys who will be defended to the ends of time, pretty much. So when you have two of them on two of the biggest Canadian markets talking about one another, getting involved with one another, and starting this debate on who's better and who's better long-term, even though they're 2 years apart, it certainly gets the fans heated up and kinda, salty. There's probably a better word to use in that context to make people feel better, but hey, let's go with that. So let's just end this video off by saying this. Elias Pettersson to me has franchise potential. He will be the Vancouver Canucks' best point scorer year after year after year, probably by the time he is 23, 24, 25, all the way up until he's like 33 or whatever. That's a best case scenario for Elias Pettersson, a 90, 100 point potential like player. Does that sound crazy? Yeah, but I'm pumping his tires quite a bit. I am a believer in Elias Pettersson. At the same time, though, Jesperi Kotkaniemi has so much potential that if he's able to work on his speed, his agility, his skating, and is able to get back up to a really strong level of play in the NHL, there's no telling what Kotkaniemi is going to be able to do in the NHL. This player could be a first-line setter for the Habs for a decade plus if everything goes right. And if Barkov is the comparable here, then boy oh boy, that's a very, very nice player to be compared to. So they're both really good players. I don't want to say that one is going to be better than the other or what, but as a fan of both the Canadiens and the Canucks, I like them both. So seeing the fan bases trash all the other ones because they like their guy a lot more, it's funny to me, but at the same time, it is pretty nuts to me, especially since the age difference definitely does mean something in this context. So, whether you're a Kotkaniemi fan or an Elias Pettersson fan, I would like to see a compliment for the guy that you don't like, because that is what we need right now, isn't it? I hope you enjoyed this video, such as I Trost 99. Comment down below what you think, and bye.